time was wasted in assembling a squad. This pitchfork army on a mission sent from God. No inch was safe from Reverend Paris's brigade. Their crusade, their crusade, their crusade. Call the magistrate and don't you wait another minute, cause this town is going to hell if we don't put away the sinning. And we got no time to let a jury have their turn. Let 'em burn, let 'em burn, let 'em burn. The damned were crammed into a carriage on the square. Their faces battered and their bodies all were bare. The Reverend led them to an isolated hill. Time to kill, time to kill, time to kill. One by one their necks were snapped beneath the cedar tree. The spirits vanished and the demons all were free. They dug a hole to hold the devilish remains. They were slain, they were slain, they were slain. The town was safe from all those wicked dissidents. They could continue with their life of innocence, dispensing justice from a higher power. They built a church atop the spirits and the bones. Their moans were heard as they were laying down the stones. But the witches got revenge beneath that steeple bell. They cast a spell, sent the Reverend to hell.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back to our weekly DM chats with one of us. This week, it's me, Carolyn. You probably saw me last weekend on Saturday doing the DM thing. So this day, I'm going to be doing another deep dive. This time, the selected class is the Cleric. And I have shit on my glasses, which is distracting. So clerics, have always, in most D&D games that I have ever been in, are your healers, traditionally. I never played a lot and never saw a lot of clerics in 3.5. I was only in really one big campaign when I first started playing D&D that I saw from beginning to end. And none of our characters, the three of us that were there, were clerics. One of us was basically a Time Lord and reincarnate. My other party member was a fairy soul catcher person, and I was a very confused fire elf. So, yeah. Let's see. Clerics. Heals. But also in plate, but not always. They can wear medium armor traditionally across all domains. So domains for your cleric class are basically your subclasses. Starting off, all clerics can wear medium armor. Some of the domains do get proficiencies with heavy armor at level 1 when they choose their domain. So clerics are also very heavily in spell casting, which is why they can be your healers, because they can take Mass Cure Wounds, Healing Word, Cure, Restoration, Revivify, all of those wonderful healing spells. But they can also be very good in your battlefield as far as casting AoE spells, dominating, doing some wicked damage. If you've seen some of the battles that we've done in Cyril, our Tempest Cleric, which we affectionately call him our Storm Cleric, Ramduin, played by Brian, he can dish out a lot of damage. So yeah, but that's the Tempest build though. So, clerics at best need a really good wisdom score. That's what your magic is based off of. After that, you need strength and or con. You can decide which one you want to have better, or to have your second. Wisdom is first always. Strength and con, you can decide which one you want. Constitution obviously helps your health. Strength helps you with your ability to hit things. It can also help you be able to wear heavy armor. Heavy armor does require you have a certain strength in order to wear it. So especially if you're taking on some of the cleric domains that are like War, Tempest, I want to say possibly Forge. Those you might want to have a good strength score for. So if you're a number cruncher, obviously you might want to pick a race that is beneficial or gives bonuses to your wisdom, con, or your strength. Previously, there have been, at least with Bard and Barbarian, there have been classes that have kind of hit the big bingo with the +2 and a +1 to both of the 2 scores you need it to. Unfortunately, with clerics, there isn't actually a race, at least with the PHB, that actually hits both of those. It's either one or the other. So some good ones, of course, you can always do with a human, aka our Tempest Cleric. They get a +1 to all of their scores, which makes them a really nice choice. Hill Dwarfs get a +2 to con and whiz, so they would actually probably be the best choice out of everything because you get both, but it's just in reverse of how you'd actually want it with a +2 to whiz and a +1 to con. But what can you do? Mountain Dwarves have the +2 to con and strength, so depending on how you want to play it. Elves, you get a +1 to wisdom if you are a wood elf. Elves naturally get a +2 to dex. Stout halflings get that +1 to con. All halflings have a +2 to dex. Dragonborns get strength and charisma, strength being the +2. So there's not really a bingo gotcha kind of race for clerics as far as that number crunching moment. But again, in all situations, you can play whatever race you want. Those are just for number crunchers. So all clerics at level 1 choose their domain. They also get their channel divinity. They also get, I'm going to say ritual casting as well. But channel divinity is a big one. Channel divinity, all clerics at level 1, regardless of their domain, get channel divinity, turn undead. Which depending on your level, basically you can either have them run away from you because they're like, oh no, I'm afraid. To some extent where you can actually destroy them depending on how low a level that undead is. Depending on your domain, you get other choices with your channel divinity. Which I'm not really going to go into huge detail about, but yeah, your spells are your main bread and butter as a cleric. Again, depending on what you are, depends on what kind of spells you're going to choose. Clerics get all of their spells back after a long rest. And yeah, so there are 9 domains that you can choose from. You can choose from knowledge, life, light, nature, tempest, trickery, or war, You also have Forge and Grave. Forge and Grave are in Xanthar's Guide to Everything. So the original 7. So if you're ever going through your PHB, or you're going through a homemade brew, whatever, most of the gods have have 1 or 2, maybe 3 domains that are a part of what they do and what they look over. If it's not been clear, which I haven't actually said, clerics get their power from God. They literally have God on speed dial and go, "Yo, bro, what up?" And God go, "Hey, you doing good shit today. Have some power, bro." So yeah,
God's apparently from Brooklyn.
Everyone's from Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn.
When
you know
Carolyn
that about our DM.
when Carolyn's doing
They're
stupid
from
voices,
Russia
or Brooklyn.
and sometimes both.
At the same time, which is weird.
Oh Lord.
It's a New York and Russian. Russian New Yorker? New Yorker. Russian New Yorker. There we go. Anyway, so your domain decides what kind of abilities extra you get. They can give you extra spells that you wouldn't otherwise have access to, and also determine like what other abilities you get with your channel divinity. So with the knowledge domain, this cleric is very handy because I think at level 3 or 6, they can literally say, "Yo, God, nobody in our group is good at lockpicking. I need to know how to do that." And God says, "Okay, you now have proficiency in that for an hour." And they can then,
Motherfucker! Ow!
they can then use a tool set, whatever tool set it is, for an hour with proficiency. They're considered proficient with that tool set, which is nice. So they can actually be a very useful kind of like multi-use tool in the beginning. Let's see, they can also read surface thoughts. One of their channel divinity abilities is that they can just be like, "What that person thinking? Oh, okay.
Wait, does he think I'm hot? Can you tell me?
And if they fail it, they can actually then use the suggestion spell against that person, and they automatically fail that save if the person who they're trying to mind read fails the initial save on the mind read.
Come up and tell me I'm hot.
The person just walks up and is like, "Yo, you're hot." Thanks.
Hey, tell me I'm hot.
They can also kind of use their channel divinity. I think it's channel divinity, either that or it's just an ability in general, where they can actually see in the past. They can see an object, like who the previous owner of that object was, or they can just look in a general space and see what previous activities have happened in that space. So those are some really cool abilities that they can do. God, I think the biggest one that I can think of on the top of my head is Ioun. I think is one of the main D&D gods that have been up. She would be considered a goddess of knowledge. I think she's considered like a goddess of nature and possibly like light, possibly. But yeah. So next domain would be your life domain. Life domain is your healer. They are designed to be the healer. Their abilities give them, let's see, they amplify the healings that you can do. And I think at highest level is when an enemy dies, you can choose an ally or yourself to get back health from that by basically, let's say an enemy dies with 15 d8 worth of hit die. They die, you say, "Oh, that person gets that health. They get 15 HP back." Just because that person died, and you're like, "Yeah," and I take that and give that there. So it's pretty cool, depending. But yeah, life domain is your bread and butter healer. They're gonna do really well with casting Mass Cure. They're gonna do really well with casting, Healing Word, all of those great healing spells. So that would be your life domain cleric. The light domain cleric is, in a way, I would consider them probably what you would want to call it maybe a truth cleric. in that their light is designed to banish the darkness, which is literally their abilities. They can actually cast light and banish magical darkness. They can also use their abilities to blind opponents during attacks, to help their allies. But yeah, that's their main ability. Kind of, it doesn't like spark a great, imagination for me when I read that. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Your nature domain is, as it sounds, all about the natural world. They have the ability to talk to animals and plants. And they can even eventually charm and command the animal and plants to the point that they do their bidding. Yeah. And they also have the ability to protect their allies from certain elemental damage. They can negate those elements and or even channel those elements into their weapons to do elemental damage. So those are like the two things that they do is animal talking and elemental augmentation or elemental reduction. Your next domain is your Tempest, which if you've watched Serial, you've seen a Tempest Cleric in action. Tempest Clerics are very much your fighter cleric. They are built to be fighting. They are one of the few domains that can take on heavy armor, and their channel divinity really augments spells that deal in thunder and lightning damage. I'm sure you've seen Brian do it, where he will channel divinity and say, "This spell, which has lightning, does max damage." That's one of their abilities. They can push people back with a lightning or thunder damage up to 10 feet back. And eventually, at 17th level, they can fly.
Because fuck you.
Because of reasons, as long as they're not underground. If they're underground, they can't fly.
I foresee a lot of underground missions for us when we hit level 17.
Fuck you, you're not flying!
The next domain is your trickery domain. If you watch Critical Role, Jester from Critical Role is your trickery cleric, following the Traveler. The trickery cleric is someone who is able to create illusionary versions of themselves to trick people into, not being sure which one is the real one. They can also go invisible, coat their weapon in poison, and eventually at highest level with their channel divinity, they can create not one, but 4 duplicates of themselves and control them all within a single turn. So, I can only imagine how crazy that will be when and if we ever get to that point in Critical Role where Jester has 4 duplicates of herself. Crazy shit. Your next one is your war domain. This is again one of your fightery clerics. They are going to be built for heavy armor. They are going to be built to do damage physically. Your channel's divinity are good to give bonuses to your hitting. They can also give bonuses to your allies. I think War God's Blessing is one of their channel divinities, which I think gives a +10 to an ally within 30 feet of them to hit. So if they're like that close, you'd be like, War God's Blessing. So yeah. The one thing I will critique about this domain is that at 17th level they gain resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing, which is stupid considering barbarians get that at like level 5 when they rage. So it seems at that point I feel like if you're gonna be, I feel like it should be rewritten, because I feel like that is something so completely stupid for a 17th level cleric to get. I think at that point it should be immunity. You know, it just seems really anticlimactic for a war, for the war domain to get resistance to non-magical at that point. You're high enough level. You probably have items that do that at that point. So it just seems really anticlimactic to me. That's my only critique of that particular domain. The Forge domain is a weird one in my brain. It is, it's a cleric class that focuses on building stuff. Which I'm not sure how it fits into an adventure. But they can create, I think, just basic equipment out of scraps magically. I think if they have like a scrap of metal up to 100 gold in value, they can meditate for an hour and create, you know, maybe just a plain dagger or a plain sword or that hook and rope that they need in order to, you know, scale a mountain. Basic adventuring gear they can create magically on their own. The Forge domain, I think, does do a better job at giving better, I guess you could say, abilities to a cleric at higher level. I think by the time they reach level 17, they've gained immunity to fire damage. And there's some other bonuses in there, but I was just very impressed. They're like, you are immune to fire. Fire, you just go to fire. But yeah, I'm like, if you're gonna give one immunity, why not the other one? Why? Wizards? The last one is your Grave domain, which again, if you've watched Critical Role, Caduceus, Talison's character, is a Grave cleric. Good old Caduceus. They can detect the undead with their channel divinity. They get, what's the damn spell? Spare the Dying, which is normally is a cantrip of like an action for most people, and I think you actually have to touch them. I think for Grave Clerics, you do not have to touch them. It is a bonus action to cast the spell, and you can be within 30 feet of the person to actually cast the spell. So that is actually that actually really makes that spell really clutch for a Grave Cleric. They can make their allies hurt enemies more. I don't remember the exact ability because I'm brain dead. They can say no to crits.
Just say no to critical hits.
Basically, they just say no. If I think it's either themselves or an ally they can see within a certain range, they can a critical that hits their ally, it turns into just a normal hit. Anything that would have been triggered by the critical does not go off. So it just turns into a regular hit for the ally, which is hella awesome depending on what you're fighting. Oh, I got that confused.
Oh, what'd you do? What'd you break? You broke it. You broke it.
Nope. Yeah, I got the life domain and the grave domain confused. So the life domain doesn't actually get the ability to take souls and heal the living. That's the grave cleric, not the life cleric. My bad. But yeah, so it's the grave clerics who can actually be like, oh, you dead? Now you heal my friend. Life clerics don't do that. They just, I think they can then, I think at the highest level, I think, don't quote me on this because I'm not actually sure. I could pull out a HB, I suppose.
You could.
I could. I think we actually have one right here. Boop, boop, boop. Divine Domain.
Hang on, let me call God.
Phone a friend.
Let me phone a friend.
As long as it's not as useless as when they phone a friend on Nailed It.
I'm really glad they stopped using that.
So they get Blessed Healer, which is when they cast a spell, they can then regain HP for themselves whenever they cast a healing spell. Divine Strike, they can turn their weapon into radiant damage to do more damage. A lot of clerics actually get an ability like that where they can channel divine magic into their sword, whether it's radiant damage, elemental damage, some sort of damage. They can do extra damage with their weapon through their divine connection with their god. The Life Cleric at level 17, when you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points with a spell, you instead use the highest number possible for each die. For example, instead of rolling 2d6 hit points, restoring 2d6 hit points to a creature, you just restore 12. So you just basically get max healing at level 17.
Whap! Ow! You're healed,
So,
bitch. Shut up.
That can be really, especially at level 17, when you probably have access to level 8, 7 or 8th level
Heals.
spells. And even if the spells aren't that high a level, you can take the spell slots to cast Healing Word. You can do you can heal for a lot. But yeah, Life Clerics are made to heal. So.
That's why I can't play them. Because I choose to inflict wounds instead of cast Cure and the party's down. And I'm like, if I'm dying, I'm taking you with me.
There are special people in this world who can play Healing Clerics. And they take their role very seriously.
Maybe I'll try that next time when Verity dies. Maybe I'll come back as a Life Cleric.
You don't take your abilities, you don't take your role seriously.
That's why I'll be the best healer. They'll never expect the mace to the face.
I've known a few of them. It was funny. He was actually one of my DMs, and he played a healer in WoW for the longest time, and he was always just like, that was his thing. He was the healer. Whenever we played D&D, he would be the paladin, because he wanted to be up close. He wanted to be in the fight, but he also wanted to be able to heal folks.
Yeah, Fox is a Life Cleric. And Teresa, so you guys have one Life Cleric in your life. Who's not horrible at it.
So, but yeah, you have a lot of choices with the clerics. There's a lot of variability. There's a lot of variety. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. In your choices of what you can play, what you choose to do. I do believe that they have also, I think, in the DMG, technically an evil domain, which I think is the death domain. Mm-hmm. So you can technically be that kind of cleric. Either that or it's a paladin. I might be getting confused.
No, it's a death.
Is it a death cleric?
It's a death cleric, and then there's the Oathbreaker Paladin.
The Oathbreaker Paladin, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can also look into that through the DMG. But I am not of the opinion, or nor do I truly like evil characters, especially in a game where it's supposed to be very cooperative. But yeah, that's just my opinion, but you can check out the Death Domain on your own time through the DMG. And of course, if you have your PHB, you can always read up more on the clerics. But yeah, they're a very interesting class, a lot of variety there. I now know how many channel divinities you get in a day, Brian. I'm watching.
Yeah, he's been keeping an eye on
I
it.
know, I know he does. I'm just teasing him.
Which is really funny because he wasn't in the chat, and now he is.
He appeared just for this.
He was like, "I'm watching you, Brian." He's like, "Bitch."
They do come back on rests. On short.
On long rest.
Long rests? I thought they were short rests.
Mm-mm.
I've been in the chat for like 10 minutes.
He's just been watching us.
So, but yeah, that's the clerics. Next go around will be druids, which I'm excited to read more about, and kind of get to explain what Badger does, what makes Badger Badger. Excuse me. But yeah. What?
Just you.
Oh. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah. This Sunday... Oh, is there a question?
We have people, so keep talking.
Oh.
Harkness has showed up. Hi, Harkness.
We already did bards.
Yeah, that was last week.
Time.
It was 3 weeks ago. But you could probably find it on our YouTube channel. Fuss is happening. Let me pull up my own chat.
Bards are totally better than clerics. I'm sorry, Brian. I love you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord, this is gonna get really exciting.
Keep talking.
Just let's have this awkward silence.
I'm reading the chat. Sorry. Life. Oh, boy. Yeah? Oh, boy.
So what's your favorite of them?
Oh, gosh.
What's your favorite cleric?
My favorite cleric? Because of, I don't know. I can tell you that I really would never play a light cleric.
Now I just want to start singing, you light up my life.
It was funny at work today.
Super Saiyan.
I'm not too good on the spellings today, y'all, so, yup.
Super Saiyajin! So in all actuality, they're Saya people. Because Gen in Japanese actually just means people. Sorry, I'm breaking down words in Japanese. And I can do that because I studied Japanese, so meh. Not to say that I actually know a lot about Japanese, but I know a little bit. My favorite, I would never play a Forge Domain Cleric because I think they're stupid. Much like Light. I could see Nature being fun to play with. Tempest, Trickery, and War. Those would probably be the ones that I would be most interested to play with. Possibly Grave, but not really. Grave Domain to me is like, I mean, I'm sure it's interesting. It's obviously very interesting in Critical Role with Caduceus because Jalison's an amazing actor and he makes anything awesome. But for me, I think those would be the four that I would pick from: Nature, Tempest, Trickery, or War. And Knowledge would probably be like a second because depending on the character, that could be fun. But yeah, that would probably be my choice.
Yay! We have a follower. Mm-hmm. It's xcat_darkness!
Xcat! Welcome to the cult.
Oh god.
I'm kidding.
We're gonna have to sing that song
I
again.
know.
No, absolutely not. The last thing we need to do
That
is
was
sing
clipped.
that.
You should go to our clips and find that.
You should absolutely watch the clips because it takes me like 8 fucking hours to make those things because nobody else does it.
Our social media manager /player is /other DM is slightly irritated at us.
DM, tech support, social media manager.
Schedule coordinator.
Yeah.
Calendar manager.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very inadequate.
You're more than welcome to take some of those titles.
I'm not
fire resist.
Wait, who? What?
He's talking about the number of times he's fireballed the barbarian.
Ah. How do you fireball something while underwater?
Interestingly.
You don't. It's water. Fire and water don't mix.
Just like fire and lightning that we discovered last game.
You mean lightning and water?
Yeah, whatever. Fire and lightning
Very
absolutely
different.
Those are awesome.
Yep.
Those are awesome.
I would like to use lightning underwater.
Verity.
Really?
I feel like that's one of those in like a BioWare game. Verity disliked that.
Verity disapproves.
Verity massively disapproves of this.
Verity greatly
I mean, he
disapproves.
only approves -8 health, so it was less health than when he fell out the window. Fell in quotes. When he was pushed out of the window.
There was that too.
What's been your favorite moment with a cleric?
Can I talk about not favorite moments? No, I'm kidding.
Pushed is such a strong word.
I mean, he was, though. He was pushed. He was literally unconscious.
And
Head,
invisible.
then pushed the butt onto the ground a story below.
With the I like that more than the backup plan, which was shove him in the bag of holding, where he will start suffocating. I liked out the window more than that plan.
Well, the bag of holding never actually came into play during that particular one. But anyway,
yeah, your favorite moment. I feel like I have one.
I mean, the players probably have one. As a DM, thinking how it completely ruined like what I thought was going to be a really cool adventure. Casting Water Walk while on the river after I tried to drown everybody. Very, very good use of the spell, I will say. However, very disappointing for the DM. Because my overall thought, overall very excited me didn't get to do what I wanted to do. So, there was that. That was actually a really good one. Actually.
I'm gonna send you guys to this temple that's literally alive. That's great. Banishment. What?
Yep.
You heard me. I said banishment.
That was actually a really good one when the cleric banished a giant snake temple that was going to eat them. But yeah, that was a well use of that particular spell. And I was like, okay. Again, with this with this big filler that I had to take up time and prolong. Nope, gone. Okay, sure. I was gonna, sprinkle in some, hints and stuff of what could happen and things like that, but no, you banished it.
Tell us how you really feel, Carolyn.
Excuse me.
You gotta cheat better.
Oh.
So, Andy said our cleric is the encounter breaker, and John Hartness is just like, you gotta cheat better.
I'm a very bad liar. I will say that. I am, if I had an alignment for D&D, it would be lawful good. I have a very hard time lying and being dishonest. Like, my father, who loves me dearly, has told me before, Carolyn, you're far too honest. And was like, you can't tell people that in an interview. And I'm like, why not? I'm just being honest.
I know, the number of times I've been like, you're not lying, you're just massaging it.
You didn't see the movement, which was even better.
So yeah. Yeah, I have a really hard time, quote-unquote, cheating. I feel bad when I fudge die rolls. So.
I mean, I'm an IRL rogue.
That's
so
what we tell the
I don't
dogs.
tell the truth.
I mean, okay, so, like, I have fudged rolls before.
Only you had fudged those 2 nat 20s on disadvantage.
That didn't even hurt you that much.
Hurt my pride a lot.
Did I even double the die on that?
Yes.
Oh, I did, didn't I? I mean, not that it matters now, I guess.
Too late now.
Yeah, I really can't go back and be like, well, let's see what I rolled.
Let me add some extra damage when we get back.
Chat is really exciting tonight, and it's kind of great.
I hate it when you have players you can't trust. Icing your warlock? Oh. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, Hartness.
You can't trust players. Yeah, he's the GM.
No.
Okay then!
That's a whole different story.
No. Yep, go for the side of ridiculousness.
I'm concerned about you, ex-cat.
You need to catch up on their podcast.
I apparently do.
Watched a few episodes of Relics and Rarities, yeah.
Sadly, I have not.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it so far. I like how they've got it sort of set up with the consistency of that shop. 0 hit points is not super dead. It's only kind of dead.
You can
Slightly
stabilize
dead.
at 0 HP.
It's
not
someone whose character came back from 0 HP and have a lot of regrets about that.
You're only dead if you fail your death saving throw when you go under 0, or you go to half your HP below your actual HP. So if you have 20 HP, if you go to -10, you insta-dead.
Yeah, I wish that we could, you know, have the same production values as some of the Critical Role and Geek and Sundry things, but we got a Yeti and a Brio.
That's what we got.
Which sounds like I'm trying to give a shady bargain in an alleyway.
Hey guys, you got some Yetis and a Brio?
I got a Yeti, you got the Brio? We're back in Brooklyn.
You want to take this package to New Jersey? No! No, I don't!
I don't trust you right now.
Yeah, the insta-dead rules in 5e are weird. Yeah, we definitely are not in Hollywood. Maybe one day we'll have nice setups and shit. That day is not today.
It is not. Probably not in the real foreseeable future either.
You know, it just is, it is what it is, and it does what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is about-ish the setup that we have. We have the one Yeti mic, and I adjust its gains and its pattern that it's picking up in. And generally it's pretty good. Some of our players who are very low on the register of voices are a little bit harder to hear sometimes. But
That's why we sit them very close to the
yeah,
mic.
we've had to do strategic movement of the
Strategic
mic.
sitting.
So all of the boys sit on. You can't see the full setup, but
It's a
all
couch
of the
that's over
boys sit
here.
on the couch closest to the
It's
mic.
the 3-seater.
My dumbass was about to wave and be like, it's over here! You can't fucking see me!
I can move the camera, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll have to tune in to some of ours and actually see, what it looks like and is set up like. We've got a game Sunday. The Saturday one's the bigger one though, so that one probably would be the one that you, from a technical standpoint, would be more interested in.
Yep.
Yeah, some of the ways that you can actually make your character move is actually, next week when you're in town for JordanCon, we have a Saturday at 12 p.m. game. And then I was thinking about maybe bringing some of the cameras and stuff once we finish that game and heading over to JordanCon. And then technically we have an off-stream game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've talked to the group and there's maybe some interest in packing up some of the cameras and going over to JordanCon afterwards. I mentioned it. I don't know if anyone was listening, but
I don't know how I'm going to be feeling because I have work.
I
that
know you've
weekend.
got work and D&D. Let's get
I don't know that I'm going to be able
to.
to brain after 6.
But yeah, I might just. We'll just run through the Trimmer Train again.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
It's such a good session. It's so silly. But yeah, well, we can do that. I'll pack stuff up and bring some stuff over to JordanCon and we can set up a bit stupid. It'll be interesting to figure it out on the fly, but fuck it.
D&D on the fly.
Oh, Polymorph Sheep one shot sounds good too. Yeah, I'd love
Does
to
the
run
party get polymorphed into sheep and you run around as sheep?
That would be awesome.
That sounds amazing. I would have a hard time not bang the whole time.
Oh, nice. That sounds awesome, X-Cat Darkness. Yeah, both of the games that we run are homebrew worlds. And in the one that I run on Sunday, Susie has a homebrewed patron for her warlock. But yeah. Yeah, I backed that one too, and then I just backed the Cats and Catacombs Kickstarter because I already backed the
The
doggy
long
one.
death monk. That sounds cool. I feel like you need to explain that now, XCat.
Let me find that Kickstarter too. Yeah, it's by the same people who did the dog one.
Dungeons and Doggos!
Oh, okay. Cool.
There's the link, Hartness. Or anybody else who's interested in it. It actually looks really cute. I'm hoping we got invited to a local library for tabletop day in June, July,
Something
whatever.
like that.
Something like that. And I think we're gonna run the dog one potentially.
Dungeons and Doggos.
Essentially, so that
Bork,
should be fun.
Bork.
Everyone gets to be a dog.
I should be a mastiff again so I can subwoof.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to work on the swearing thing for the library visit. That's gonna be an interesting adventure. I'm hoping that perhaps if we go with doggos, everyone will just go heckin' big concerns and not fuck at all points, because that's what happens quite consistently in our game.
No swearsies, the puppers don't like them.
I know, puppers don't like swearses. Yeah, we'll see.
So far back in the book.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. The library invited me to do one speaking engagement thus far, and thus far we've been invited back once more.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I didn't know they had more.
That's why the A&D con is in Vegas. Yeah, that makes sense. You'll be fairly child-free. Cause yeah, we swear quite a bit. So that'll be the challenge of that one. Yay. But yeah, this is our setup for these, which we do every Wednesday, and then the setup for, yes, the Necromeowser.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, the Cats and Catacombs backer thing is awesome. But yeah, this is our setup for the DM chats. Our games run between 3 and 4 cameras each, depending on if we need something on the table or not. So this is our 1 camera setup, and then we've got a 3 camera and a 4 camera setup, and change where the light is for those, because right now the light's on the other side of the room, so it's not ideal.
Whoosh.
But yeah, and if you get bored while you're at JordanCon, you can just come over and I can show you how we set it up,
Because we're like super close.
Yeah, we're actually like really close by.
I don't know if you would really call us high tech.
I mean, we're more high tech than a lot of the other streams out there.
It's true.
We're also one of the only ones that's an all people in person stream. Most of the ones are
D20 or Roll20.
Oh, if you get in Thursday, we'll come over Thursday night. Oh snap! I did that too, XCat. I had a changeling, that nobody ever figured out was a changeling in our group. Nobody ever figured it out. So they just ran away forever as a changeling again, or whatever they did.
We're not
I
sure.
love changelings so much. But yeah, just text me when you get into town, and I'm happy for you to come over, and I can show you how we set everything up, because we'll have a Saturday game, and I'll probably go ahead and start getting set up for that early, because I don't know how long I'll be at Jordan on Saturday.
I have to write that.
You do! I've still got to finish the game that's Sunday. Sunday. But yeah, the Cats and Catacombs looks awesome. And the Dungeons and Doggos one was really cute too, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. To my group in the process of the story. Yeah, that's keeping secrets is my favorite thing to do in D&D, and for my unfortunately
She's really good at it.
Unfortunately for my very poor little rogue, all of his secrets in his whole life have all come out in the past few games, and he's having a real bad time about it. Yeah, I know. We have so many minis here. I'm gonna hand you a box, Carolyn.
Okay. I say here's one tiny box, but that's only one small box.
We have
4 of these.
4 of these boxes of minis.
Filled to the brim.
We have very generous friends who trust us.
We do.
Who have been playing D&D a lot longer than we have.
Yep.
And we also have a bunch of the Dwarven Forge tiles as well.
But those prove to be seemingly far more work.
They're a little tedious to put out sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But
I say probably now that we have a good chunk of minis painted, we could actually start using Dwarven Forge, and actually you can see.
yeah.
Rather than it just being dark plastic on dark plastic.
Yeah, and then we've started doing more Hero Forge minis and actually painting them so they show up on the map.
Well, that's probably not
That's
the best
probably
one.
not the best.
Where's my badger?
Here's Verity. He's obnoxious colored.
Yeah.
Obnoxious!
So, one tiny little tiefling.
Yeah, it doesn't really show up at all.
What? Where did the...
Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes!
Fuck.
Ah!
Don't throw Verity. He's had a bad time already. He doesn't need any more violence.
You just slipped.
Oh, nice. I'll keep that in mind. Because I know for, we use Hero Forge a lot, and I know that you can get those, get the files for those.
I say Fat Dragon does a lot of the...
Yeah, Fat Dragon
Fat.
has a lot of them, too.
Fat
I know you said fat. That's not what my brain hurt, though.
Dragon.
But yeah, painting them is super tedious. I'm not very good at it, but otherwise it's really hard to see the actual figure and tell it apart from the other figures. But now that my very sneaky bright purple tiefling in the obnoxiously red jacket is very easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so sneaky. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize he'd back to the Dirt Chief Dungeon.
Yeah, Brian did that.
Nice. I can't wait to see that.
Khajiit Hasser.
Oh. But yeah. Thanks for hanging out and chat with us, guys. This has been fun. We don't normally get too much action.
Mm-mm.
We get some.
A little bit.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Take my shirt off. No, I'm kidding.
You're gonna get us banned.
I have an overshirt on.
Frank Brian. Yeah. Get your writing done. I'll see you next week. Just text me.
Bye, Harness.
See ya.
Bye. And I guess with that, we'll take us out.
Alright. So, recap. This Sunday. This Sunday.
Sunday.
We have River of Teresa at 10 a.m.
I heard that PM tried to sneak in there.
It did. But I caught it. I didn't let it out.
Good save.
10 a.m. And then we, of course, have our weekly DM chats / random D&D topics here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then the following Saturday, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, will be Tales from Cyril with Mwah.
Well, we will be starting later than usual.
We will be starting a little later than usual, probably around 1:30, for I have my muggle job to deal with. Such is life. But it is what it is. So, of course, you can find all of our schedules on social media at Roll for Trouble, Instagram, Twitter. Probably not Tumblr because Tumblr sucks.
Tumblr's great. I love it.
Tumblr knows what it did.
Tumblr knows what it did. I'm real big mad at staff right now. So yeah, Facebook. That's another thing you can find us on too. I was trying to remember another social media site. My brain got stuck. So yeah, that's us. Thank you so much for joining us. We've really appreciated talking to you guys, hanging out with you, and we hope to see you we hope to see you again real soon.